I'm going to start off this episode on a different note today. I was just informed that my intro sucks, so we're going to start off on a slow note this week. We're bringing it back live, episode 4 of the Full Send Studios podcast. Thanks for joining us here. I'm joined once again with my good friends, Ian and Darren. And if you're tuning in and you like the old intro better, where I'm louder, type 1 in chat.
You sound unmotivated.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Is that what you were going for?
That's what I'm going for. That's what I'm going for. Because I don't appreciate the disrespect.
Who insulted you?
Darren.
Oh.
It wasn't.
I didn't hear you say anything.
You're a rude little elf. And I do my best. I do my best every week.
I am not an elf. I am a dwarf. Thank you very much. Okay. There's a difference. I use an axe, not a bow.
All I'm saying is I do my best every week. And 2 minutes before we go live, you just throw my confidence under a bus by saying your intros are trash. I mean, timing, right? It hurts
called
me.
Comedic timing.
It hurts me. Okay, so now we're going to have a trash intro for this episode, and we're rolling with that. We're not getting anything better than that, so that's what we're sticking with.
Okay.
Welcome back to episode 4, everyone. It's been a wild ride over this last week. I'm glad that we are all still alive and here to bring you this high quality content that we bring you every week, Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to start off this episode with a bit of a sellout. If you're in here, type that or hit that heart right above your video feed. Give us a follow. We're 20 followers away from becoming affiliated with Twitch, and if you could hit that little heart, it would mean the world to me. Staring right at the camera. That's what it's all about. Make it feel personal. Hey, Courage, can you punch him, please, so he can shut his mouth? Thank you. Donate $5. I mean, you can punch me if you want. I guess I don't have anything to stop you from doing that.
It's a lot of I have to move my arm.
So,
and I don't punch anyone but Darren. So
wow.
Matador, all I'm saying is I do my best, okay? And I just don't think that I deserve this hate. But
no one's hating you.
But
I'm gonna use this opportunity to try to return something to the world that I think the world deserves, and it's for Sunkiss to start making lemonade again.
Yeah, let me get in on this because this is my passion project right here. So once we're big and famous, guys. I don't know if you've ever heard of the LA Beast on YouTube. Shout out if you haven't.
Shout out LA
Go
Beast.
watch him. He started a movement to bring back Crystal Pepsi, which I'm not a huge fan of Crystal Pepsi, but I respect.
A lot of shit I respect it.
He got Pepsi to bring back Crystal Pepsi, and Sunkissed lemonade is discontinued, but it's the best lemonade I've ever had.
Yeah.
And
bring it back.
Bring it back.
Yeah,
bring it back. I'll buy it.
2018. We'd be more than willing to talk about some sponsored content. Probably pay us 50 cents.
I would be.
I'd do an hour of me drinking Sunkissed lemonade for 50 cents.
No, dude, we got to do like a 24-hour sitting by the fire drinking Sunkissed.
Oh, yeah,
we got to be like Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
Shout out to Jeff.
That was the best live stream ever on Twitch.
It was so good.
Yeah, for a little bit of context, what was it even for?
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically what happened was Jeff sat by the fire for like a day or something insane. Now, we found out afterward that all of the sitting was just recorded clips, and then they had random movement, and then they would actually do live stuff. But, I mean, that's what everyone expected it was anyway, but... we like to believe that actually was a troll, and Jeff actually just sat there for like 18 hours.
It was golden.
Best content on Twitch.
And they didn't even tease it or anything. They didn't even announce it. It was just some random, Overwatch was streaming this random thing.
More popular than the Overwatch League, lol. Okay, so we can actually get into some of the stuff that we had set out for today's episode. So you can read in the title. A couple of things we're going to be talking about. Obviously, what we normally do, we're going to start off with a little bit of the gather talk, just talking about some stylistic decisions and our new motion capture studio. And then again, as per usual, we're going to jump into gaming talk. We're going to do the game of the week segment. We're going to give a recap on a topic that we talked about last week, Summer Games Done Quick. We also have an article about gaming in mainstream media, so we're going to hit on that. We're going to talk about Google's rumored gaming console. We're going to give an update on the Bethesda lawsuit that we talked about last week. And then we're also going to hit on Steam's presentation at some conference where they talked about, well, they kind of hit on the issues of all of the games they're allowing. So, but yeah, we're going to start off with the Gather Talk. So Darren, if you want to dive right into that, that'd be great.
So I guess I'll talk about the mocap first. Last week we highlighted some work we were doing with the Kinects, getting mocap up and going. We are no longer going to be using Kinects for motion capture. The main problem with them is that we can't get a big capture area, so we can't do like running around and things like that. However, we will be using a new system called Perception Neuron. Yes. Neuron? How do you say that?
Neuron.
Okay. Doesn't really matter.
Well, anyways, it's called Perception Neuron. It was actually a Kickstarter project. Basically, it's a motion capture suit. Does hands, full body, all that. And instead of using like cameras and sensors to track the movements, it uses like accelerometers and magnets inside of sensors to go at different points on your body to track the movement. Yeah. So we'll be using that. If you're interested in that, you can look them up on YouTube or anything. There's a lot of videos out there.
We have a video, or no, not yet. We will have a video on our YouTube.
Yeah, we'll do like an unboxing, and we'll do some behind the scenes stuff with that.
I think that's gonna be a more professional video. I think Ephraim's gonna help with that.
Yeah, that's gonna be. We'll be doing, once we get into that and we start doing some more work there. We'll have some, higher quality behind the scenes videos and stuff that we'll release on our YouTube. So that'll be interesting. I'll probably make a video. I'll probably, with the behind the scenes stuff, I'll make a video that goes into a little bit more detail about how the whole process works and our pipeline for that and everything.
Right.
So that's where we're at with that. We will still probably be using the Kinects for facial tracking, because there's not, that I've found, a very cost-effective way to do facial tracking other than Kinects. They work surprisingly well for it.
Right.
So we will probably use those for that still. I don't know how much facial tracking we'll need to do for some of the early versions, but it's definitely something we'll be doing in like the campaigns and stuff. So,
most definitely.
The other thing we've got is some stylistic decisions. We've bounced this idea back and forth a few times now. Originally with the Gather, we were going to go with pretty realistic graphics, similar to The Last of Us or Call of Duty or something. Trying to be as realistic as possible. We've decided to stray pretty much in the complete opposite direction of that now. This is for several reasons. I think it looks pretty cool.
It's more fun.
Yeah, it gives it a. So we're going with a more cartoonish look, similar to Borderlands or like Jet Set Radio, back in the day if you played that.
Serious gameplay, not serious graphics.
Yeah. So what this is, I think it looks cool just from an art style perspective. Mm-hmm. And then it also allows us to use lower polygon models and generally get better performance out of lower end systems on the game and make it more accessible to people. So you won't have to have, SLI 1080 Ti's to run the game, So that's a big thing with it. We do have a screenshot here of where we're at with it. Okay. And then I'm going to switch to that here. Wrong one. There it is. Forgive my... inability to hit keyboard shortcuts right there.
Be right back. Right back.
But anyways, this here is just an image. This is kind of where we're at with it right now. This image, I've actually done a little bit of tweaking since I took this screenshot. This screenshot is actually from in-game, but we've gone a little bit lighter on the, if you notice back in like the hallway there, the outlining gets really heavy as you're further away from stuff, and it looks kind of, if you look at it and you're playing the game, it kind of hurts your eyes how heavy it gets with stuff that's further away. It looks
low quality when I think of it that
way. So what I've done is, and we'll show some more of this on our Twitter and stuff coming up soon, I've actually sort of made different layers where I can go heavier on like the characters and stuff because I like that look. And initially what I did in this picture is the same filter is essentially applied to everything in the scene, right? And I did that. I went really heavy with the outlining and stuff to get the look I wanted for the characters, but it had a kind of negative effect on the environment.
Right.
So what I've done is essentially added like multiple layers where I can, do the outlining differently between, tweak the values between stuff. How much is the game gonna cost? Have we talked about?
Well, let me say this first. If you want to see a higher quality picture, go to our Twitter.
Yeah.
It's posted on our Twitter.
Well, this is the same picture.
I know, but then they can interact with it and they don't have to look at it.
That's very true.
On us Twitch stream.
Twitter.com/FullSendStudios. While you're there, give us a follow too. Be great.
So I think we've talked about. I don't know if we talked about what our actual final decision was.
We've talked.
I know we've talked about a
it
few
be.
different ideas with it and stuff, but the pricing is gonna be. We don't have a number yet,
Right.
for sure. We're probably looking, I think, in the $20 to $30 range, for the initial game.
Yep.
And that'll come with, certain updates. We'll maybe release new game modes and stuff every once in a while. Maybe a map here or there, stuff like that.
Matador Easter egg.
And then we'll be doing like expansions, so similar to like the World of Warcraft stuff, where they had expansions that were $15 to $20. Essentially to add like a lot of content. So the way we'll be doing this is the way the campaign's going to work is the original game will come with the first chapter of the campaign.
Yep.
I don't really know how long that's going to be. That's something we'll find out down the road. But that'll come with the first chapter of the campaign, multiplayer maps, game modes, all that good stuff. And then the expansion packs will come with future chapters of the campaign. So I don't know how many they're going to be. I'm thinking at least like 4 chapters.
Yeah.
4 or 5 with the way we're kind of playing things now. But that's how we'll release the extensions. They'll come out with the campaign chapters, and with that will come new characters, maps, weapons, enemies, maybe some game types, etc., things like that.
Right.
As we introduce things in the campaign, so new enemies and new characters, those will be made available in the multiplayer, and the multiplayer maps will feature areas from the campaign.
And we really want to pack each of the expansions with as much content as we can, so it doesn't feel like we're just pushing out things for money.
I aim for each expansion to be about, so when you buy the game, let's say the game is $30 and the expansions are $20, right? I aim for the expansions to have 85 to 90% as much content as the original game.
Well, I think it's important to know that like the expansions aren't just to continue to ride off the wave like some games do, right?
Yeah.
Some games will just re-release content.
I would
years
even
later.
say that our expansions, I intend to be more like sequels.
Right.
If you think of, you buy like Fallout 3 in New Vegas is a good example.
Yeah.
The way I'm picturing it, one of our expansions would be like Fallout New Vegas, just being inside. Ooh, I hit my mic.
Whoa.
Just being inside Fallout 3. So that's kind of where we're going with
It would
that.
be like Borderlands and like the whatever Jack expansion.
Yeah. I think it's also important to know on the monetary side of things that if you're a supporter, like on the Kickstarter and stuff like that too, there will be very obvious discounts and
so we're gonna do like a rolling pricing scheme. I think I'm aiming for the final price of the game to be $30.
Right.
That's liable to change anywhere in the $20 to $40 range depending on how things work out. But I'm aiming for $30 right now. But it'll be cheaper the earlier you get in. So the cheapest place to get it is going to be on our Kickstarter when that goes live. We're still looking at the end of summer on that, maybe into the beginning of fall. We'll see, but that's going to be the cheapest place to get it. I don't know a number yet, but that'll definitely be the cheapest place to get it. And then we'll do an alpha release and a beta release. And those will be slightly cheaper. So let's say
kind of like
the
Minecraft model.
Yeah, exactly like how Minecraft did it. So let's say you buy it on the Kickstarter, it might be $10. You buy it in alpha, 15, beta, 20, and final release 30.
Yeah.
And we definitely are gonna do sales, humble bundles, Steam sales, things like that.
That's where we
definitely, I would be surprised if many people who play the game actually spend the full price on it.
Yeah,
is my intention.
That's where we buy all our games that are on the sales, so we respect that heavily.
Very true. Yeah. Well, and with our original price model too. I mean, the plan has always been not to gouge people on price.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's not the goal. The goal is just to put out a good game.
Mm-hmm.
So sales are definitely going to be something that
Yeah.
I've already
And
been
something
looking
that
into. And
something that I think we'll do. I get inspiration from this from a couple games, but I know that Killing Floor has done it before. They do like if they do a sale on Steam, you could buy like a 4-pack, right?
Yeah.
And it would give you codes to give your friends.
Because
and I think that we'll probably do that because this gameplay is heavily cooperative and team based,
just like Killing Floor.
So I wouldn't expect people here and there just to play around with it, play by themselves. But I think mostly this is going to be a multiplayer team based game.
I'm pretty sure that's how I got Killing Floor was from one of you guys.
Yeah,
on one of those sales.
Because I mean, Killing Floor used to do like insane sales. 90% off. You could buy a 4-pack for like $8.
Yeah.
And I think the full game was like 20 or 30.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's good stuff.
it's
I'm all
very
about
good
the
value.
sales.
Yeah, most definitely.
I'm all about providing the sales too. So
yeah.
I mean, the money is really just to continue to be able to put out more content and live.
Yeah,
right? Like
the main priority with money and what we've tried to do in coming up with a pricing model and where we're gonna sell the game at is to find the best way to receive consistent income, not necessarily let's get $5 million off of the initial release, and then use that money for a long term. It's more maintaining consistent income so that we can continue to put out more content.
yeah.
And it's not just exclusive to games either, right? Like doing other things with the community that we've built.
Yeah.
For example, TwitchCon is in October. Having something and being able to go there, right, obviously costs money.
Having a booth at any of the
at a conference, right?
I've never been to too many conventions or anything.
Right. Same.
But I know I'd like to go to like PAX East or something like that.
Yeah.
I was reading an article that someone did on like the average cost of a small indie booth at something like PAX East or like E3 or something is usually like 10 to 20 grand.
Yeah.
So, those things cost money, and there's not really a way around that.
Yeah, and it's just again to overall improve the experience that is associated with the game. I think some of the best games that are, I'll say, most popular games are games that do that kind of thing. Like example, Fortnite hit the gold mine when they did the combination with the Twitch Prime stuff. And just being able to do stuff like that and whether it be set up meetups or stuff like that would be really cool, and I think that's something that we want to do, and that's what eventually led to us changing the price model, is just the realization that we want to have an incredible experience inside and outside of the game. So
Did you know something that's been running through my head a few times as I've been researching some stuff I've been working
What's
on? This is like way out there, down the road in the future.
I'm listening. I like it.
So Unreal Engine does a lot with augmented reality, right?
Yeah.
I think it would be really cool to have like a convention or a meetup specifically for the Gather, where you play the Gather IRL with augmented reality with VR. Like we set up a map IRL and you play VR in the map augmented reality.
That would be insane.
We have a pretty decent space for that.
That would be really cool. I'd like to do that down the road. It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
It's
just retrofit the
doable,
gym.
But yeah.
Yeah. Maybe.
So that's something I'd like to look into. That's
well, even
way down the road,
but even like way down the road at PAX, we could get a good sized booth.
Well,
and just
see the problem.
Retrofit that thing. Make
the
it huge.
problem with that, when you look at pricing for PAX booths and stuff, I mean, like a 10-foot by 10-foot booth is like 10 grand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean when you look at like the Call of Duty booths and stuff that are huge and stuff, they spend millions just for the space, not even the
presentation.
Right. Yeah.
That's insane.
So I mean, that's getting a space like that at one of those places is pretty tough.
If we're making $1 million, we're putting it right back into the community.
Yeah, but see, and that's the thing. I don't know that that's the best place to spend that money at an event like that.
Well, we can just host our own.
Yeah.
When we
because
can host
people
our own,
who
or
want to
just
go
do
to that,
meetups.
I feel like PAX and E3 and stuff are for multiple things: to release new content, or not new content to existing
New
games,
games.
but new games, new technology, and to attract new customers.
Well, why don't we just start a indie game convention in Columbus?
How many?
Yeah,
conventions,
but though this one started by us.
Well, that's true. We're the goats, so that's just how she goes.
Yep.
But yeah, you're pretty right on that. And it's probably not the most worthwhile thing. I think it would be worthwhile to go to the conventions.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not saying it wouldn't be worthwhile to do them, but that's not where I'd invest the money. To
At least off the start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Down the line, like, hey, listen, we have this booth. Come by, say what's up. But yeah, I definitely think it's not a wise advertising.
It would just be us three.
Yeah.
Us three sitting in lawn chairs at a booth. What's up, guys? Just chilling around lawn chairs.
Hey, guys. The Gather. Woo!
Doing the podcast live from E3.
Oh, that'd be lit, dude. I would do that. That'd be fun.
I would do that 100%.
Our fourth guest could be Matador. He's been here since the beginning.
It could be Matador. That would be awesome. I was also thinking H3H3, Ethan.
Yeah.
He lives in California, I'm pretty sure.
LA.
Yeah.
So
I think he lives like outside of LA.
Yeah, I think so. So, Ethan, if you're watching this and you want to be a guest sometime, hit your boy up, dude.
Or if we want
or like any other,
we'll be a guest on
I
this too.
support the Vape Nation, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean your setup's pretty cool too. It's all right. So, be more than willing to set something up over there too.
I took inspiration for our camera angles from the H3 podcast.
That's hard to
argue. That's pretty true. That's because it's just a good podcast. You know what I mean? TwitchCon is in California this year.
Yeah,
it's in like San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty cool to go to. That would be really cool.
You mean we're not going
to TwitchCon? Like, I mean, right now probably not. It's expensive.
I would go though.
Like it costs money to go to.
How much is it to get a ticket?
I don't know.
To get a pass.
Well, it's not just the ticket.
Well, I know that.
I know to California.
Yeah, well, we can just drive to California. Hotels are cheap.
Dude, I'm not driving to California.
I've done it before, dude. It would be so much fun.
Is it cheaper to drive than it is to fly that far?
Probably.
Yes, significantly.
Really?
Depends on if you rent a car.
Dude, I drove to California and back for less than $200.
Yeah, if you rented a car, it's probably cheaper to fly. But
indeed.
But
I had 4 people. But
let me buy a ticket. Okay.
It's probably sold out.
I can't buy a ticket. I can't buy one.
Dude, why don't we just go to TwitchCon and do the cosplay contest?
I'll be Roadhog. Easy.
Well, I guess we can talk about the game of the week here.
Oh yeah, dude.
That's all you guys.
This is actually like we've talked about it. We've talked up a lot of good games. Talos Principle was fantastic.
What did we do last week?
Last week was
Matador. Do you remember what game we did last week?
How do we not remember this?
What game were we playing this week?
I don't know. It's a game you guys were playing.
My game is complete. My brain has completely been washed by the new game.
What the hell was it?
I don't know, dude.
Quake Champions.
Oh yeah. I mean that game was good.
It's fun. It's fun to play with a lot of your friends, dude.
Fun.
But nothing like this game.
I got pretty tired out.
This game though is just
phenomenal.
I don't even know. This is when I think about what the Gather's going to be. This is the feeling that I hope it gives to other people. Like just content that. The content that we'll push out makes me feel the way that I feel about this game. Like it's good. Well, we're getting to it. The game's called Dauntless.
It's free to play.
Free Monster Hunter game.
I'll post the link in chat.
It's similar to like Monster Hunter on console or whatever, but has a really really interesting art style and frame perfect combat. And it's really good. And I've played a couple, probably 10 hours of it. Me and Cody have probably put in 10 hours or so into it.
Maybe more. But yeah, it's very solid. It's just simplistic, right?
Yeah.
It's simplistic, but it's so good. I really feel like lately, and like all the games I really have been liking are just really simple games.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times I get more enjoyment out of a game that I paid less than $10 for than a game that I would.
I think.
And this is free. If I didn't say that, let me stress this enough. This game is free.
Here's my thing. I think you can have a complex game with really complex mechanics and items and things like that. Yeah. It's all in how you introduce it, right?
Yeah, sure.
So like, if you've ever played, have either of you guys played the pay to play Fortnite Save the World?
No.
Nope.
Okay, well it's very in your face. There's so much like You play it,
Oh, yeah.
and there is so much content.
You were
just
telling
like,
me about that, yeah.
Just like, boom, right here. And everywhere around you, too much to look at, right?
Yeah.
It's just, there's too much stuff all at once. That's the problem. It's not that there's too much overall, but it just shoves it all in your face at once, and you don't know what you really want to do.
See, Dauntless
right?
does this in a way, but they give it to you in pieces.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying.
there's 5 weapons that have different combos specific to the weapons. And they don't tell you that, but when you're naturally spamming to try to kill this massive beast that's in front of you, you kind of pick up on it either way. So like there's just basic attacks and there's heavy attacks, but there's combos for the sword, there's combos for the hammer, chain blade, pike, and axe is the 5th. Yes.
War and pike. Did you say pike?
Yeah. War pike.
Yeah.
And then each beast that you kill has a specific type of weapon that you can make, or like in addition to that weapon, and armor. So and you can interchange your armor pieces. So like there's this strategy in like composition for your 4-man squad that you should do depending on what thing you're fighting. So like if you're fighting a fire beast, then you want to be using ice.
And there's also the whole elemental, like
you
were talking about. There's a whole elemental, like this is better than this. Like it has kind of the feeling of like a real-time strategy game to a degree.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
like just how the balance system works, right? So like you're going to this place and what you're gonna fight is probably this type. You don't necessarily know that on all the missions because some of the missions are just like patrol and you're not exactly certain.
Right.
And in situations like that, it's it's better to rock like a combination of different armors to protect against different things and to give you different boosts. Whereas if you know what you're going in to fight, you can set a specific armor class and weapon that would work well with that. So it's a game that at its core, right, has an island where you buy the stuff, and basically there's an island where you buy your weapons and armor.
It's a lobby with
and then there's an island with
there.
a monster on it. Yeah, like the spawn island is like what you would expect in like an MMO, right? You're put on like a server.
It's like the Spire in Destiny. Is what it would be, or the main lobby in Destiny where there's like real people there walking around with you.
Exactly. And then you go to an island with a group of 3 other people and yourself, and you fight a behemoth.
Yeah.
And you wreck him.
Very well designed.
Maybe. They are. And the game's just fluid, too. Like, I haven't had any points where I'm just like, something is broken that isn't my fault.
That real-time combat. That frame-perfect Smash Bros. Combat.
Yeah, it really is.
It's good stuff.
Man, it's getting ugly in chat, boys. So, anyway, the point of that is you should
check it out.
Get that game. I mean, you have no reason not to unless your hard drives and whatever are full. If that's the case,
we should talk. We should be specific and say that the performance of this game does take a good amount of performance capabilities.
Yeah. That's fair.
But I mean, what do you have in yours?
1070.
Yeah, I have a 1072, and I can run mine at Epic. So
yeah, same.
So it's all good.
Darren
can't run his because his computer's broken because his RAM doesn't want to work, and he blue screens every 15 minutes.
I think the game recommends you have a 970.
Yeah.
Or 980.
980, I think, is what.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of. I can see it to a degree because the islands are like detailed and stuff like that, but it is strange.
I think it's because of it just got to open beta.
Yeah, it's
and
probably
so
not
there's
very
some optimized issues
yeah.
that they need to work out. But there's like a lot of I can see how things would break if like you're playing it and then the initial like you're in the jet or the plane or whatever and that cutscene of it swooping in would break things.
It would break a lot. Well, and also it's really important that you play on high FPS.
Yes.
Because it's similar to like a Smash game where having that extra frame or whatever, those extra frames is extremely important for dodging, hitting the proper target, whatever.
Yeah, dodging is a big thing. And you can dodge through every attack if you're timing it right, which I think is interesting. So there's like a timing gap.
It's like the
where
Dark
you need
Souls
to dodge.
system.
Yeah, but there's armor that that increases that
Your
gap.
window.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting.
It's really cool. It's a very good system.
So if you're bad at the game, you need the armor to make you better. But me and Cody are just way too good.
I play Warface at 35 FPS.
That sounds terrible.
On what graphics? Low?
Oh man, dude.
If you're playing that on low, I feel bad.
I
I can send you my laptop and you get better FPS. Maybe I better go back out. Medium. I mean, just keep working. You'll get there someday. Or you'll be like me and you'll just get your best friend to buy you something.
Who did that?
Whoa.
Who did that,
I
dude?
have a lot of best friends, dude.
You can only have one best friend. That's the point of the word best.
Like it's like fluid. It's like fluid, dude. I think something like that. Like what does Merriam-Webster say? Best. Oh, he went to Best Buy. Lol.
What?
Autofill.
There can only be one best. That's the whole
dude.
point of the term.
Let's see. Best definition.
And you just shushed you there. Hasn't you just shushed you?
I'm obviously not the best.
Whoa.
Okay. Here's the definition of the most excellent, effective, or desirable type or quality. So, not necessarily, top.
I disagree.
But then the next definition.
Why don't you look up best friend on Urban Dictionary?
I'm scared to see what Urban Dictionary says. Don't do that.
We're gonna pause on that. We're gonna divert.
What do you mean?
Quick.
I just follow everything Urban Dictionary told me.
Well, we're gonna divert from that quick, and we're gonna talk about Summer Games Done Quick again.
Yeah, dude.
It's over now.
It's over.
Final donation total stands at just over 2.1 million.
Which is intense.
That's not including T-shirt sales and sponsors and the Humble Bundle proceeds or subscriptions or anything like that.
Yep.
That's just the donations. So obviously the total amount will be higher than that.
Significantly higher. Yeah.
What was last year's?
Way less.
Way less?
I think
it was like 1.7.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Still in the up.
So they're going up.
So they do they have So this one, the Summer Games one, is not their highest paying one.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. I think it was on the Wikipedia.
What's the highest? This one?
Give me a second. So they do Awesome Games Done Quick, which historically raised more.
Bad Games Done Quick is my favorite, though.
Hard to argue with.
It's fun to watch because the games are bad.
So, for example, this year was their highest raising one for Summer Games Done Quick at 2.1 million. The last year's was 1.7.
Nice.
Year before that was 1.2.
Dude, they've been in steady up and ups here, dude. It's like $500,000. What a upgrade every year?
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's been pretty good. They did stagger from 2015 to 2016, but I mean it went from 20. So here's the history of it: 21,000, 46,000, 257,000, 718,000, 1.2 million, 1.3 million, 1.7, 2.1. So
that's
that's
gnarly, dude.
And then Awesome Games Done Quick, they've had 2.2 million the last 2 years.
So that's still nutty.
So that's insane. And they actually have...
They average like 150 viewers on Twitch.
Yeah.
They do. All the time.
They do a lot. Yeah. And they're doing one at TwitchCon this year. This is why I knew the TwitchCon date. So it's October 26th to 28th, right after my birthday.
What's it called?
Games Done Quick Express. So it's...
And as we just learned, I don't have to get you anything for your birthday because I'm not a best friend. So.
I mean, like, Darren, you're my best friend, dude.
Oh, there we go.
Are we getting sappy, sure?
Okay, dude.
Hold on. I'm getting sappy.
I love you, dude.
Okay. Talking real close to the mic.
I love you, dude. All right.
Let these guys have a moment. It's a real good
I'm not having a moment. Cody's having a moment.
Cody's having a fake moment because you're not his best friend.
It only takes one to have a moment. That's what I realized in the course of my life. Take from that statement what you will. Games Done Quick Express, they're doing, so it's 3 days, right? It's TwitchCon, and they're doing 24 hours. They're doing 72 hours.
72 hours straight stream?
Yeah, like all of TwitchCon, they're just streaming it.
What is, just random games?
Yeah, I guess. They haven't really released like a games list or anything like that yet.
What if we tell them we're really fast at a game and then go and then never played it before?
I think they do like a pretty extensive recruiting process.
I'm sure.
Like,
you can't have any scrubs going up there just
hey, dude,
blowing
I'm
it.
just saying, I speed ran the first half of the Talos Principle in like 30 minutes.
I think it would be really funny to have someone. So if they had someone that speed runs the game, it's like the best at speed running, and then they pick someone that's never played the game before and have the speedrunner try to tell them how to do things.
oh,
That's something I would want to see.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Let's do that with the Gather
So like
for sure.
like say I'm really good at this and I have my brother who's never played it before, and I'm like, all right, Brady, here's what you have to do. You have to do this, 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 and this, and then see if you can do
It'd
it.
probably be extremely difficult.
It'd be
Especially
extremely
if
frustrating for the speedrunner.
especially if you're doing glitched, because like for example, we were watching the Doom one,
Yeah.
and like the very like the pixel jumps that he had to hit to like that's
he
just
literally couldn't do them unless he had 200 FPS.
yeah, like that is just pure mechanical ability.
Yeah.
Right, and like that's just a guy that has never played the game before would very much struggle with that.
That'd be hilarious to watch though, and I'd like it a lot.
But yeah, so I'm going to TwitchCon this year. It sounds like donate. I stream at twitch.tv/Cody Marshmallow. I'll probably have a little counter up there during my next stream. Send Cody Marshall to TwitchCon for my birthday.
He's not gonna.
If I get $2,
I'll donate you $1.
If I
Darren,
get
you want to
$2,
double that dollar? Give him $2 to go.
Matador, would you just find some game that doesn't have any record of speedrunning and have the world? Honestly, Eric,
That's hard to argue with. There.
not a bad idea.
I want to speed run. I want to be the guy.
No, dude.
What's that NES game that
Well, there's a couple.
There's a couple of NES games.
Well,
there.
the one that's not actually a NES game that someone made. Well, it's a NES game, but they made it like it wasn't released with
what
the
are you
NES.
talking about, dude?
Right, like they made it post NES.
I want to be the best speedrunner.
They played
of
it
Pong
on Game
the
Grumps.
Atari.
Aaron fought the flower, and he went crazy. Remember?
Wait, what?
Eric's in chat. Eric knows what I'm talking about. Eric, what's the game where Aaron fights the flower and starts singing songs on Game Grumps?
Eric will know that.
Yeah,
110.
It's like iconic. It's right behind Sonic
Fair enough,
06.
Matador.
Listen, I wouldn't, Darren. You want to be professional Pong speedrunners in the Atari?
Let's go, dude. That would be lit.
Yes, Battle Kid. That's what it is.
There you go, Eric.
There you
See, I
go.
told Eric.
So it was
Eric's
like they
dude,
made
he's all
it-
about it.
It was for the NES, but it's like made afterwards. It was made in like the 2000s, I think, as a ROM. But anyways, it's very good. It's not playable on American
really
region
support.
NESs, I don't think. But it's similar to I Want to Be the Guy, just stupid hard. I mean, ridiculous. So I'd like to speedrun that.
Cuphead.
Darren, did you see what your mom said in chat? How does it make you feel that the gifting to me has skipped a generation and went up another one? Let's go. Send Cody to TwitchCon, dude. Come on. The campaign begins today.
So you have $3 total from Darren's mom and me.
Let's go, dude.
I'm not giving you anything.
You wouldn't give me $1.
Darren owes me $10 for plugging his computer back in.
Are you kidding me? No, I didn't know about this.
And he was going to give me $10 in Mozart today, which I probably still do.
Yes.
$10 to plug his computer. Are you serious?
Dude, I was
Dude,
tired.
he was actually, like Darren, like Cody, you have to understand. Darren walked into the house, said hi to me, sat in his chair. He goes, Ian, I'm dead. And then he looks at me, and then Carlos jumps in his lap, and he's asleep in like 30 seconds. And I'm yelling to wake him up because he was like, made this bet with me and Cody that he wasn't going to finish something tonight. And I'm like, Darren, you got to finish that thing. And he's like, dude, the driver took too long. And it hadn't even been 2 minutes before it was done already. And he was asleep again.
Oh,
So
dude.
that's the mindset that
Hey,
Darren was.
$10.
He did finish it.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely deserved to go to sleep from the week that you have
Yeah,
had.
you've had a tough week,
Yeah.
Darren.
It's been it was a
My
lot.
week's been great. I worked 4 days
Can-
this week.
Cody,
And then I
Darren-
slept after you left last night, and I slept for like 9 hours, and then I woke up for like an hour and a half, and I went back to sleep for like 3 hours.
You need to. We need to have a story time with Darren about trying to get your whatever it's called off. That took all three of us
Oh,
to
the
get it
wheel
off.
bearings.
Yeah,
I mean,
take
we
the
could
wheel
talk
bearings
about that
Oh
real
my
quick.
gosh, that
Yeah.
was
So this week I was changing my
Story
let's
time in
preface
chat.
the story with it is super hot in Ohio
It's
this week.
90
Yeah.
plus degrees and 100% humidity.
Yeah, like
It's been rough.
over 100 on the heat index, right?
Yeah.
So it's
It's been tough.
it's been a rough week.
And
right?
me and Darren both work in.
Yeah.
Darren works in a
so-
hot factory, and I work in a hot warehouse, and Cody works in a freezer.
Oh, it's great.
So-
great.
So,
40
anyways, I
degrees
work
all day,
I work
baby.
54
Let's
hours
go.
at work this week, right? So on top of that, I changed the wheel bearings on my car, and this one nut was so tight.
Not.
We had Cody and
PG
Ian
stream,
standing
by the way.
on a wrench holding it, and I was jumping on another one, and it took us.
Well,
half an hour to break
it
that
started
loose.
with Darren and his mom doing it.
Yeah.
From what I gathered.
Yeah.
And then I pulled in, and Darren was like, hey, can you help me? And so we started trying to pull on it. It didn't work. So I was like,
Yeah.
Darren, I'm going to stand on this. You should stand on the other end. So me and Darren were both standing on it, and I was like pulling myself up from the car to push down, and it wasn't doing anything. So I was like, all right.
And then you
I
hit
thought we were
the-
gonna knock the car off.
I walked inside,
you
and Cody
hit
was
the-
asleep, and I was like, all right, well, I got to wake Cody up.
typical.
Cody
You-
gets up, comes
You
out.
hit that stereotypical more weight, and you came in and got me.
And then we're like, well, we need more weight on this, obviously. And so Cody and Darren stand on one side.
That's
And
a
I
lot.
stand in the other.
Right? Like that's a lot.
I stand on the other, and I
be
had to
honest.
jump multiple times on it to get it to come off. So.
Yeah. And then
It was
I came up
awesome.
with a better idea, and I got the other one the next day by myself. So
Doing what?
I did it before I
You
took
just
the car
did.
off the jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, Darren.
Foresight, Ian. That's a good thing. And then I had to get the bearings off of the axles.
Did you say
and it
Captain
just
Foresight, Darren?
Took a long time.
Isn't that your
So
nick-
yeah,
isn't that your
you know, I'm
nickname
a
at
game
work?
developer and a car mechanic.
Isn't
So.
that your nickname at work, Darren? Captain
What?
Foresight.
No. Captain Hindsight. I go tell
Captain
people what they
Hindsight.
did wrong. Like I literally,
Together.
like I'll go tell something. Yeah, you should have done it this way. Oh, thanks. You saved the day. Have fun fixing it.
I tried. Yeah. Would you
Um,
mind helping me with some stuff I have to do? What do you need done, Matador? We're here to support.
I mean, I don't know
Any
if
way
I can work
possible.
on your car.
And he can ship
Dude,
it
I,
to us.
I would drive. I would fly to there.
Well,
Where do
have
you?
fun.
Where does he live? Do
Italy.
you know?
Italy or something?
Italy.
Yeah,
dude,
That's
I'm
pretty
about it.
lit. It's pretty lit.
But yeah,
I've been to
was
Italy
interesting.
before.
Anytime I see someone from another country that knows English, it makes me realize how trash
Our country is.
like America's education
Yeah,
system
dude.
is.
It's bad.
Like I don't want to get into this.
Or does it make you realize how much better our language is?
No.
No.
I like the only thing it makes me realize is that literally the world can't operate without us, so they all had to learn our language because our
Wow.
business is
That is a
good.
pretty bold statement.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's kind of true,
it's-
wouldn't you say?
yeah.
I mean,
Like isn't English the international like business language?
I don't know.
Am I wrong
Yeah.
on that? I think it is.
I think more people in China speak better English than they do in America.
Yeah. I mean that sentence had a grammatical in it right there. You
Yeah,
know what
dude.
I mean? It's
When,
pretty
when
crazy.
people can type in Twitch chat and put together full sentences, and I can't even like tell you how to stand up in Spanish,
Yeah.
that's bad.
It's
Dude, I can
Siéntense,
speak a little bit of
something
Spanish.
like that,
man.
maybe.
Like I can say hola and stuff.
There you go.
I don't even think
I
you
took
said that.
I took 5 years of Spanish class and I can't speak a
Dude,
full sentence.
I
So
took
I
2
was-
years of Spanish class, and I've been to Mexico, and I've been to Haiti, and I can't speak Spanish. It's
yeah,
bad.
it's really an embarrassment. Like I took 3 years in high school and then 2 semesters in college. Don't know. Couldn't put a sentence together properly.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
just,
bad.
It's just a fact.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is, honestly.
And
It's
like,
Spanish makes
America.
me mad. It doesn't make sense. It's backwards. I don't.
I really think we just need to revert back
I think
to
we're
Latin.
backwards. I'm pretty sure English is like backwards compared to every other language. I'm
Okay,
pretty
well,
sure every.
that's
I'm pretty sure the
English
conjugation's
got it
wrong.
right though.
Wow.
So
No, we just need to go back to Latin. Latin is by far the best language.
Everyone speaks Latin
Yeah.
in the world.
I think we need to speak Pig Latin.
No.
Dude, okay.
Pig Latin.
What?
No.
I don't even.
Why not?
I don't even
All
remember
right.
how to do that.
It's like you take the first
First
letter,
letter.
add it to the end, and then add an A to it, like Igpay Addenlay or something like that.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Pig Latin.
Interesting.
Pogs. Yeah, it's not a real language,
Yeah.
like at all. But
Did
it's pretty
other
funny.
schools do that?
What?
Is that like a thing that people do, or was that just our
What,
school
Pig
specific?
Latin?
Yeah.
No, that's a thing.
Is that a
people
thing?
do, I think.
I just
yeah.
remember that was like middle school days. All the
me
cheerleaders
see.
would come up to me and say some gibberish, and I just tell them to get out of my face.
Yeah, dude, it's like the original meme. Someone was like, "Dude, Latin's dumb." What if
oh,
we
here
just
you go.
made it
You know what's
laugh?"
funny? Why don't we create a language we can talk to people in school?
A made-up language formed from English by transferring the initial consonant or consonant cluster of each word to the end of the word and adding something syllable. Usually, whatever. So
Where's the
chicken soup
bathroom?
would be translated to. I'm not gonna say that because it could come out wrong.
Where's it at?
Well, this word, I'm just not comfortable saying that.
It's
I mean,
oopsie. Chicks say oopsie.
But you throw an extra consonant in there somewhere, and just
It could
turns
say
into
oopsie.
it turns into a not PG stream
could say
anymore.
oopsie.
So I just try to be careful.
Chicken
about that
soup,
stuff,
bud.
dude. I've seen people fall apart for less. You know what I mean? No, just careful out here. Just careful. Other than counting to 10 with my preschool, I can count.
Uno,
like, I can
dos,
do
tres,
numbers
cuatro,
well.
cinco, seis,
Siete,
siete,
ocho,
ocho, nueve,
nueve,
diez.
diez.
I know how.
Yes,
I
yeah,
know what
yes,
number it
yeah.
would be if I could see it. Like if I can see the number, I know
But
what
can you
number it
count
would
higher
be.
than that?
I
No.
think I can count to like 1,000 in Spanish.
Yeah, dude, I definitely can.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Well,
going
I'm
to.
just
not-
stupid then.
That's
Jeez.
our 24-hour stream.
Yeah,
We'll
24
count to.
hour-
We'll
24
count to
hour.
24,000.
Dude, we should do a
in Spanish.
24-hour stream where we just count to 1,000,000.
Well, I was thinking about that. Well, not counting to 1,000,000.
Why not?
Not that.
It's only like a year.
But I was thinking when we like are doing something, I don't know what, we could do a 24-hour charity stream because we talked about doing a charity
Yeah,
stream
I'm about
last week. Like someday that we don't have anything to do for like 2 days so we can recover.
Okay, I have a question. Matador, are you native to Italy or are you from another place? Because I feel like Italian's not easy to learn, right? I'd be like, it's not like Mandarin or something like that. Mandarin and Russian are difficult to learn for English speakers, but
Yes.
Spanish is
Very
easy
much
and
so.
French is easy. On a scale. I mean.
Apparently.
Yeah. I mean, it takes like, it takes
Always
like
lived in Italy.
6 to
That's cool.
9 months to be fluent in Spanish and French, and it takes like
Oh,
a year and 8 months to 2 years to be fluent
that-
in and to be
Is that
fluent
like
in,
living in the native
Yeah.
country?
to be fluent in Mandarin and Russian and stuff like that, like all the Serbian languages.
See, I wonder, like, is English an easy language to learn? Like, I don't know.
Well,
if
it depends on what your native language
Well,
is.
I think part of the problem with learning languages is people always try to learn them,
Late
whether
in
it's in a
life.
classroom or like, even just self-taught, but with like, what's the thing, like Rosetta
Rosetta
Stone
Stone.
or whatever. You're always learning the like perfect grammatically correct way to do it, and that's just not how people talk.
No.
Yeah.
Right. Even in English and Spanish, people don't use the proper grammar when
Yeah.
they talk, and so if you say something that's like proper in Spanish, it's not necessarily going to be what the thing that people actually say.
Like I learned more Spanish just hanging out with my boy Jaime than I did like taking 2 classes in high
Yeah,
school.
dude, I sat when I was in Spanish class in high school, and in Spanish 4 and 5, my 4th and 5th years of it, I sat with this guy named Jose. And
Wait, which Jose?
Oh.
Soto.
Jose Soto? Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
my boy.
and he spoke Spanish, fluently.
He was
like native
Spanish?
speaker,
Yeah.
right? And so like when we had like most of our projects were in groups because like it's a communication class,
Yeah.
so I pretty much just never had to learn Spanish because he just did everything.
That's what
But-
me and Jaime were always in
pretty nice.
Spanish classes together. So it was like me, Jaime, and Colton would all be in Spanish classes, which is a mistake because Jaime just
I had a
told us
Spanish
what
class
to
with Colton in college.
do. Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. We
That's
sat next to
funny.
each other. Yeah,
That's
it was
pretty funny,
fun.
dude. Shout
Yeah.
out to the ginger, dude.
Yeah, dude. That was such a funny, like, just walking in the.
And you're just
God,
like,
God,
whoa.
I hate this place. Oh, Colton.
Hey, Colton.
Hey,
what's up,
dude. It's been a while. How's it going? It's funny.
Yeah, the big issue with America education and trying to teach people new
Whoa.
languages is that they start in like 5th grade instead of first
I know
grade.
a lot of schools don't even start that early. I mean, like Orville doesn't start until
You have an
high
option.
school.
You have an option to take it like in
in
8th
eighth grade,
Yeah.
maybe. But
The smart kids take it in
Yeah,
eighth
you
grade.
can't. That's the problem. Is you can't. It's very hard to learn a language
Well, here we have
once you actually.
we have a native Italian that speaks English. So when did you start learning English? See, we
true.
can
He
just ask
said-
him straight up.
Oh, no.
He said he did it throughout school. So
So I guess which was I know that other education systems don't go like kindergarten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's like you have like secondary school and like all this random things. So I guess we'll see what he says whenever he types in chat. Maybe it takes forever to type in chat, Matador. I'm trying to make a point.
Get it together. Well, it's also another important point. God, get it together. That like in America, our education system like really favors like education majors that graduate below the 50th percentile in college.
Yeah.
Like I think America so GPA, right?
Oh.
So like people that are just extremely underperforming, whereas in other countries it's not so much, right? So for example, I forget, is it like Denmark or something, has like a really good education system, and they pull from like their average.
And we could do that. That's not a far reach thing. If we just have Discord open while we're doing this stream, and just have Matador in there answering questions about Europe.
Yes. Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello, friend.
I don't know who this person is, but hello.
It's nice to see you in chat. Hello.
Welcome to the stream.
Silence.
Yeah. I think America's got a lot to do with education. A lot of work to do with education.
It's a mess right now. It's getting worse. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you guys
we know
know
from experience.
On colleges and stuff.
We were on the front, even high school. We were on the front end of the what is it called, the testing, but like just the standardized tests. We were like on the beginning front of that, and my brother and sister have taken like 6 different ones in 6 different years.
Right.
So like we were taking, I don't even know what it was at the time. You guys remember what that test was called?
Which in high school?
Yeah, the standardized test.
SAT?
OGT. Yeah, so the OGT was our thing. But my brother and sister have taken 4 different ones.
If I am correct, we were the second to last.
Yeah, you were the last one.
I was the last graduating class to take it. Yeah.
Way too much testing. I agree.
Really good, not perfect. We're talking about American education, and it started from not learning different languages besides English in schools.
Yeah. You know something that so the movie, I think a lot of people have seen it. Accepted. Right, where they start the college. I mean, obviously that's a comedy, but I think there's some truth to that.
Don't think we have the technology to do that. Any Collins.
I mean, we definitely don't have.
That'd be cool, though.
I do like
you can
that.
follow our Discord, and we'll talk to you later if you want.
H3H3 does that. The problem with that is we don't have a person to ask them questions to make sure that they're not just going to come on the phone and say the N word.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I can answer my phone right now and be like, so.
But yeah, I mean, there is some truth to the Accepted movie where they talk about just learning non-traditional things and more exploring what your interests are, and not necessarily these laid out these topics that are laid out before you, and pick one path.
Yeah. So our group dynamic is very interesting because we have a college graduate and we have a firm supporter of the current college situation.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, Cody's a college graduate, but I would not say that he's a supporter of the current system.
Not the system. No, I'm a supporter of education,
and I'm not against college and the concept of it. I'm against the implementation. Yeah, and I don't think that you should have to pay for it, for one.
Did you see that?
I don't think that we put too much stock in teachers and teaching, right? I'm more of an advocate for self-learning and
assisted learning. I think,
and maybe that's just because of my learning style. I can just
that's the issue.
I can just do things and figure things out. So I don't like.
There's different learning styles.
That's the big problem with education, right? Is you have people all across the intellectual playing field, right? And that's where the education system really fails people, especially at younger ages. Is like we just said.
Well, that's the issue. That's my biggest issue with standardized testing. Yeah, the standardized test.
Education should not be standardized at all, right? I think maybe in Japan or something, they do a system literally where you just take a test at a certain age, and that basically correlates to your job, right? Now, should it be that severe? Well, probably not. But you should have at points of your educational career a test to divert you on the proper track you should be on, right? Now, some people would argue, well, then you're just setting someone in stone that maybe is just a bad test taker. That's not a thing that exists, right? You're not a bad test taker. You're just not as smart. That's just like I'm not trying to disrespect anyone. That's just not a thing, right? Like if you get stressed out during a test,
well,
I can understand that, right? Test anxiety is kind of a thing, but that impacts like 0.5% of people in.
Well, I think the saying you're not a bad test taker is like you're not a bad test taker because you didn't put in the required amount of time for your specific person to know that information.
Yes.
So like,
well, I mean, it's like when I talk about like my personal, how I am with learning and education, I have never studied for a test in my life. I've never studied at all, ever, right? Like I do something and I know it, right? And that's just how I am. But and then
you're
got
also
people
literally a
the,
genius. So
well, sure, yeah. But I mean, then you got people on the flip side that there's a test coming up and they study for
multiple hours.
Yeah.
24 hours.
This is the first last semester was the first year of college that I actually dedicated specific time to reading the material and studying because I literally had to. Like we were so deep into, like I'm a huge history buff. Like I'm majoring in history and political science, but we got to a point in history where I literally had never known about this stuff. So I actually had to put in the time. So like when we're talking about history, me and Darren can bounce stuff off each other all the time because we're all about that. I'm sure Cody could give input too because he's just intelligent in general.
I try. I have my moments.
And when you get to a point like Darren literally learns a new thing every day just by watching a YouTube video.
I learn many new things every day.
And
everybody learns.
And I could do that, but it takes me a way longer time to do that than Darren, especially if we're talking about specific things.
I mean, like we could talk about the thing I did yesterday, the picture we showed earlier in the stream of the new art style we have for the game. I mean, literally, I knew zero about doing anything like that yesterday.
He just opens up a YouTube video and then he just does it one for one with the YouTube video.
I
mean, not one for one.
I strayed very far,
but
I watched a stream that Unreal Engine did on post-processing effects and kind of built it out from there. But it's just I do a lot of my research. If anybody out there is a programmer or like Unreal Engine or anything like that, everybody looks for tutorials and stuff, right? And a lot of people, that's probably the best way to learn because they're showing you specific things and like you can follow along with it. But like when I learn a new programming language or something, I go straight to the official documentation. That's not necessarily a tutorial, but just covers all the bases of what features it has.
Well, that's probably part of the reason that you are so able to adapt to new topics so well, right? Because instead of just following this one streamlined process of, okay, I need to, like, I don't know, an example in like video editing, when we took video productions in high school, they taught you how to do one.
Those classes are so stupid.
They teach you one specific path on how to properly green screen or whatever. They're not just saying, here, sit down with.
They're not telling you how green screen works. They're telling you. You click this specific button and green screen will happen. Don't care about.
I've literally watched
going
Darren
on.
pull up official documents, and so like he has his two screens. I've literally watched Darren looking at the official document screen and then just typing what it is with looking at that, and then looking back to check if it's right, and then run that. And if it doesn't work, he doesn't use it at all anymore. He just tweaks it by himself. It's insane.
I mean, I think once you've programmed and stuff like that, so programming languages are kind of like once you understand the base concepts and everything, I can learn a new programming language in probably 20 minutes and be efficient with it.
Right.
Just because I understand all the concepts and everything. And there's some languages that work differently than others, and I'm going to run into issues here and there, but so I just think that's where I learn. That's how I learn best. I just do stuff and figure it out. But obviously not everyone's like that.
Back to the American education system, it's like my learning abilities are different than yours, and it's different than yours. All of us are different,
Yeah.
so they can't just hand us that's like an ACT too. They hand you an ACT and they expect you to.
Yeah. Well, I think
do
I
a lot
think
of
that's
stuff.
where when I mentioned like Accepted earlier, that's the name of the movie, right?
Mhm.
I think, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
They if you've never seen it, they essentially make a fake college so this guy can tell his parents he got into college. Well, then they like take it a step further and they go get a building and like make a fake college,
And
but
it just
really
keeps building.
it ends up being like a real
college.
but it's not traditional. It's like they let the kids pick what they want to do, and the kids are the teachers, and they just they people do cooking or whatever. You just learn what you want to do by doing it, and that I think is the best way to do it, in my opinion. I don't think that you need someone to teach you something. I think that you are better off if you want to learn something to just do it, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing on the side of that too is that minds are catered to a certain type of learning too. Like everyone has their niche. You know what I mean? What they're really good at understanding. For example, with you, it's very technical things, right? That's why you're good at like engineering and software engineering and stuff like that.
It's really like math.
Yeah, right. It's like you're very, very good at like technical things and like analytical. You're like, history buff, right? You can just kind of draw points and remember a series of events. And computer programming is probably similar to that too, right? You have to know the process that you follow.
I mean, I wouldn't say that it's similar because like when you think about computer programming, like if let's say I'm going to make a website, right?
Right.
And I need to have these certain things. Every time you make a website, you are going to have this same script, right? To as like a boilerplate to start it from. I could not sit down and type that out without referencing something, right?
Yeah.
Wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Just because programming and stuff isn't about learning the specific, functions you need to call and stuff to do it. It's about understanding the underlying concepts.
Yeah.
So here, Matador sent us in Discord going back to education in different countries.
Okay.
I'm just going to read this word for word from what he said. He said, in Italy, we have asylum where you just play and have naps. Then 5 years of elementary school where you start studying English, but really basic, like animals and colors. After that, we have 3 years of medium school where you start studying other languages other than English. Usually we have Spanish, German, and French. In my school, we only had Spanish and advanced English. I studied advanced English for those 3 years, and basically on 6 days of school per week, I always had at least 1 hour of English. After that, superior school, your high school, even though is really different. And in superior school, you keep studying English for at least 3 hours per week. So it's pretty in depth, I guess, which is interesting.
Wow. So it's over the course of your
entire education system. You have at least a class or an hour.
Probably how it should be, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like, can I throw out home ec and can I study something that matters?
Yeah. Any of those classes,
you can turn on an oven by.
Like, learning how to cook is important, but that's
when am I
way
ever gonna sew,
easier.
Ian? When am I ever gonna sew?
Yeah. I mean,
dude, I was really bad at that. I could not sew a button.
The thing about that is,
when you had to sew the button to the fabric, didn't get it done by the end of class.
I never got it done at all.
See, the thing about like sewing and
like, oh, my mom did it.
Yeah,
I had to bring it back in the next day.
Same thing.
The thing with like sewing and cooking and stuff is like, yeah, those are skills that you can use, but those aren't useful skills for me in my adult life that I can't learn easily.
Yeah.
Like, I can learn how to sew and I can learn how to
something. I go say, hey, Mom, can you sew this button?
Or you can just go buy a new shirt.
Yeah.
I can't go buy a new language on the internet. Yeah. Like I need, like, why would you not dedicate more time into something that matters?
Well, and
like,
I think that those are,
how to
like
do your
sewing,
taxes,
for example. I understand that, the thread needs to go through this hole and do this knot to work. But it's somewhat of a mechanical skill.
You have fat fingers.
Where, you might be able to improve somewhat, but it's a lot harder to improve a mechanical skill than it is to understand something.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So, like, even throwing out, like, cooking class or, like, sewing class, why would you not have, like, I can do my taxes now class or stuff like that, or languages obviously is a big thing because I still don't really know how to do my taxes by myself.
Dude, I mean, if you use TurboTax,
honestly,
it's a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Shout out TurboTax for getting me.
Dude, I'd get sponsored by TurboTax.
For after I found out that I'm technically
dude.
not dependent
Let me
on
tell
my
you, I
parents.
still have trouble with scissors. They need to make left-handed scissors. Dude,
Are you
I'm
left-handed?
telling you, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Darren's
Like,
left-handed.
yeah.
Scissors
are.
Dang, dude, I didn't
scissors.
know that.
This might just be a global thing. If anybody out there is left-handed, let me know if you have this problem. Scissors are impossible. Like,
Do they not make left-handed
They
scissors?
have to make left-handed.
I mean, they
scissors.
probably do,
They
but
make,
they
like,
don't give them to
left-handed
you
or-
at school.
That's fair.
You go buy the $1 pair of scissors at the school
Walmart.
supplies rack at Walmart. You know, they don't have left-handed scissors. They're all the same thing.
You spend $10 on left-handed
But
scissors.
like, you
so
know how
can
the
cut straight
one
lines.
loop is like bigger than the other, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's obviously there's a purpose for that, but like, it's backwards. If it,
Matador, if he used his right hand, he'd be having a spasm all over whatever he's trying to cut.
yeah.
It wouldn't be good.
I'm not like when I say I'm left-handed. Like some people are like, you know, a little bit in between.
Well,
Or like I cannot do anything.
Well, you
there.
play Rock Band right-handed and
No, I play it left-handed.
left-handed without lefty flip though.
Yeah.
So I mean,
See, that's all.
That's
That's
just
what I'm
weird,
saying.
though.
Mechanical. Well,
That,
okay,
no,
so
that has
you
nothing
use
to do
you
with.
use your mouse with your right hand, and
everybody
right?
does that, don't they?
I don't know. Is that not a?
Do that?
I
Is
don't
that a
think
thing?
left-handed people switch.
I mean, maybe not.
Why not?
So it's when you think about like
So I
guitars,
have a
for example,
theory.
right?
Hold on, I have a theory.
Oh, boy,
right?
here we
I
go.
want to get to this really quick.
All
No
right.
one's actually left-handed. People just like to be different, right? I have a theory that you are not left-handed. That you at some point decided, wow, look, everyone writes with their right hand. I'm gonna switch it up.
Oh, I
and I'm
see.
gonna use
Like
my left
like
hand.
as a young
And
child.
especially with you, I could see that being just very true.
I don't know.
I don't-
It's not like
Yeah.
it's not like I just write with my left hand. Like I can sit here and look at my hands, and I can tell you that my left hand feels way different than my right hand does.
Well, I can do that too. My right hand feels extremely different than my left because.
Well, we can do a project.
Like my left hand feels like
can do
10
that.
times stronger than my right hand.
Yeah, dude. Same. Like I feel like if I had to decide which hand, with anything, even if my left hand is stronger physically, I would still rather use my right hand for whatever I'm doing.
But okay, like so for example, when you talk about like guitars, right?
Sure.
If you ever notice, right-handed people play guitars, they use their left hand on the frets and they strum with their right hand.
right.
And I think that you have more dexterity in your hand that is opposite, right? Because left people use their right hands for that.
Yeah.
And your main, I don't even know what it's called. If you're left-handed, you're left-handed. If you're right-handed, you know.
Yeah.
Your main hand has more connection to your brain in the sense that like that's why you strum with your main hand because you can maintain
Timing.
timing and rhythm.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
But I have a friend at school that I saw him doing this before I even asked. So he came into class one day, and we have like a left-handed, right-handed desks at school. Some of them. So like, you know, I'm talking about the desks that flip up. You get it on your right, and then there's a bigger space on the left or right, depending on what hand you are. So I watched him come in. He sits in a right-handed desk the first day of class. Right, he's taking his notes right-handed. The next day, he's sitting in a left-handed class, a left-handed desk, and he's taking his notes left-handed. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And he's like, I can write the same way with both of my hands. That is something that
I mean, my
just
handwriting is
absolutely
terrible
slaughters my
with my
mind.
left
Mine's
hand.
garbage.
But
Yeah.
even think about that. Like, I wouldn't even know how to hold a pencil in my left hand,
Yeah,
let alone write the same way
I
as
can't.
far. And he was like, "Yeah, I can
I
do."
could not hold a pencil.
He was
with my
like,
right hand.
"Literally, I can do anything with both hands at the same level." And I'm like,
That's insane.
you must just be trash at everything then. If you can do that, you know."
They used to make my sister write with her right hand.
Well, my dad would talk about
Same with
in
dexterous now.
schools
That's
back in the day, like my dad's sister was, no, it wasn't my dad. Somebody was telling me, I don't know who it was, but they were telling me like Catholic schools used to like hit people with rulers if they were left-handed. Like smack your left hand when you're trying to write
the
things. to
devil's
make-
in your left hand.
Yeah,
Get it
dude,
out.
Get it out. Get that out. Right-handed
Just
people only.
beat the devil out.
Beat the devil out. Shout out Bob Ross, dude. Rest in peace.
Okay, let's hit on at least one topic before we go. I wanna talk about
That's a good topic.
at
Yeah,
least,
dude.
yeah, no, it was, but
Deep into education in the U.S. and how
I'm
bad
all
it is.
about it. Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, I could talk about that
Yeah, we can do a whole podcast about
for
that.
6 hours probably.
Yeah.
It's abysmal coming from a psych student. That literally I worked for 2.5 years in a lab that researches how people learn best. Literally, the American education system is a joke. But anyway, I do want to move on because I think this is a really interesting topic, and you guys didn't hear about this, which makes me think maybe not that many other people have either. Google's, they're calling it, well, they are not calling it anything. These are just leaks. I don't know, Kotaku posted something, I think, and then other people kind of ran with it. But it's being dubbed right now Yeti, right? So effectively what it is, Google trying once again to get into gaming consoles. I think they tried in like 2014 with a thing. I can't remember what company it was with, maybe HTC or something. I don't even know. And it just didn't go well. But it looks like they're trying again. And this new system that they're trying to set up is something that no one has done before. I think Sony has tried it and it didn't work really well. But basically, what Google wants to do is run the games on their systems and then cast it to a device that you own, right? So effectively, you would be. They talked about just doing it on a Chromecast, right? Now, obviously, that's probably not best because frames and stuff like that. I think there are like.
There's
60
4K, 60
FPS.
Hold
FPS.
on a second.
Okay.
So explain this to me. So you're saying that
So at a data center,
their
they
data
have a
center would
computer
have the computer that runs everything, but then you can cast it
runs
to
the
whatever
game.
thing you want to.
Yes.
Interesting.
So there's a similar thing you can already do with Steam that's
Yeah.
similar thing to that, but the problem is the internet speeds aren't there yet. They are, the technology's there, and in certain places they're there, but like globally.
But we need that fiber.
They're not there yet. They could be there, but we need to
Internet
upgrade our
companies.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
But Steam has a thing where, so like, let's say I have a laptop, I can, on my home network,
Download more RAM. Well.
on my home network, I can run the game from my computer and stream the input and the video to my laptop, right? And this is, I believe, what they're talking about with that.
Yeah.
A similar thing, but they run the game.
Isn't that like PlayStation? PlayStation does a thing like PlayStation View or something
They
like
had
that,
something like
where
that, yeah.
you could just stream like a catalog of like 600 PlayStation games from PlayStation 1 throughout, and you can just stream those to your PlayStation for like $10 a month.
Yeah, but so I think the way that they handled that was that they were small enough that it downloaded them.
Yeah.
And then deleted them when they were done.
Probably.
Because
I remember
small and they can download
my brother was telling me about that, and he was doing like the first month trial or whatever, and I just played all like the Jack and Dexter games, and it was great.
I don't think we're there yet. The technology is there, but the infrastructure to
support
to the larger population is not there yet.
Is there any Google workaround? Is there anything Google's just like, if you buy this, you're just gonna get fiber? I know that's not.
Well,
I'm all about it though.
I mean, if you're in a place that has fiber to the house, and there's a few different ways. So everybody uses fiber at this point, right? But the problem is where the fiber starts at.
Yeah.
So typically what you have is like, I think the most common is like fiber to a neighborhood. So basically they run DSL, or not DSL, but they run standard cable to the house, and then they'll run a neighborhood, which a neighborhood is like 15 miles when I say that. And then they run that to a hub that then goes fiber to a bigger place, right?
Interesting.
And what you want, what real fiber internet is, when you get fiber speeds, is when you have fiber directly to your modem. That's what you want. And then Ethernet to your devices.
Yeah.
That's what we want, and that's almost what we need before things like that can happen reliably.
Before there's streaming video game services.
Yeah. So the technology is there. It's just
can you imagine that? That would be amazing.
I've been talking about that stuff for a while.
Netflix, but video games. Like, what's the game? GameFly or whatever. Think about GameFly, but you can stream whatever video game you want.
Yeah. I think if anybody does that, Steam will be the first.
Yeah. Steam's like the leader in. When I think of video games, I just automatically think of Steam. I don't think of Microsoft or Sony or Xbox or PlayStation. It's just Steam.
Yeah. But Consoles. The thing with consoles is, let's say that this isn't that because it's all just rumors.
Yeah.
Let's say Google makes a traditional console like the Xbox or the PlayStation or something. The thing about consoles is it going to be a console in the sense that PlayStation and Xbox are, or is it going to be like the Steam box?
Yeah.
Because the thing with consoles, traditionally, the reason that games were done on consoles and not PCs as much is because games needed to be heavily optimized to the hardware that they were on. And with there being so much variation in, desktop hardware, you couldn't do that. Right? So you had to have these consoles that everything had the same hardware,
Right.
and you could build the game to run on that hardware. Well, now with libraries like OpenGL and DirectX and Vulkan coming out, and there's so many libraries that abstract that away, and you deal with a common interface, and games can run equally as well on, multitudes of different hardware. So you don't really need a console now.
Yeah.
And with the price changes happening in PC hardware, as the prices start coming down for better hardware.
Unless Bitcoin spikes to 20,000 again, and it's just this perpetual cycle of any good graphics card being $2,000 for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Then consoles will be back. But yeah.
Because before it used to be the flip side. People talk about PC gaming now because it's you get better graphics, better performance, everything, and it used to be the flip side. Back in the day, it used to be that consoles had better performance and graphics because games were optimized for them.
Yeah. And now we don't have that problem anymore.
Yeah, and you still get it somewhat. You can achieve the same performance out of less hardware on a console because it's optimized, but at what cost?
Yeah.
You're using a console, and
you have to use a controller.
And I mean, don't even get me started on the current. So the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox both. The Xbox more so than the PlayStation. Their user interfaces are horrible. Like, they are some of the worst interfaces and user experience designs I've ever seen. So that's my closing note.
Yeah. Get a PC today.
Yeah.
Join
the master race.
Cyberpower PC code.
Don't stop it. Don't tell people to buy cyberpower computers.
Well,
are you serious?
Build your own computer. It's not that hard. Look up a video on YouTube.
Have
Please
Darren build your computer for you.
Don't have
bring back C average.
Don't. I mean, it definitely depended on the time period. When I got my computer from Cyberpower, it was
well. I mean, if you can get a better
better
price for the same thing, the problem was the graphics card prices, right? But I'm saying if they're of equal price or anything, you're better off building your own computer.
Then you almost bought me. You almost bought me an iBuy Power computer.
I did not almost buy you an iBuy. I would never buy an iBuy Power computer.
You were literally looking.
We'll talk about that on the next.
I remember that conversation when I was looking to get a computer, and I was like,
"We'll talk about iBuy Power on the next."
Catch us on the next one.
I'll tell a story
on story time with Darren about iBuy Power computers.
But like at the time that I got my computer, it has a 1070, which at the time was $800.
Cody got his computer during the Bitcoin graphics card price hikes when you couldn't buy a graphics card for less than $1,000.
When I bought my computer, I think Bitcoin was at 16,000, and the cheapest 1070 was $800. I got my computer for $1,200.
Yeah,
my 1070 was like $300.
Yeah,
but that was like almost a year before yours.
Yeah,
I've been in an Apple store twice. I've bought 2 Macs in my life.
Yeah, that's terrible.
That's vile.
All right, I mean, we need to. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole real quick if we don't end this soon.
Yes. Yes.
It's gonna go down.
We can save the rest of our topics.
We will add these to the topic list for next week.
Maybe next week we'll do a longer one or something.
Yeah.
For this week, I'd be down for that extra half hour, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll close it up really quick then. Oh wait, what is he saying?
He's just talking on his computer.
Oh, I mean. You'll get there eventually. Okay, so I'm just going to close off the stream really quick. If you are here right now and you're not following, there's a little heart right above your video feed. You can hit that. We're really trying to get to 50 followers so we can become affiliated so our friend Chad can donate us bits.
Yeah.
pretty much the main reason. And no, but seriously, right across the top of the screen there, you see our social medias. Follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, whatever your platform of choice is. We're going to be having a website launching, hopefully sometime soon. It's a bit delayed. We'll talk about that.
TM.
It keeps getting pushed back.
We'll talk about that more next week probably. So you can just keep an eye out for that. We're starting to integrate some newer material onto our Twitter. Like today, we did a little screenshot of.
We'll be having some more pictures and videos, screenshots of the game coming out.
We want to get that content out there for you guys, so you can comment on it. So if that's your kind of thing, go ahead and follow us on Twitter as well. But yeah, we are live on Twitch every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, just like we were today. Unfortunately, we're ending today a bit early, but next week will be full length, maybe longer, which is normally around 2 hours plus whatever we decide to do. So anyway, if you enjoyed, hit the follow button. We're going to wrap up episode 4. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.